like we are going into the second map. eUnited up, currently 1-0 against Singularity Ninjas, and we are going to Nepal.
This is where the power of Genji can be extremely strong. Not maybe on this first point, because Cruz likes to run the Diva initially here, but when we transition to Sanctum, that's when things are going to get very, very dangerous for these two teams. Not to mention Boombox. He had so many great matches on Village and Nepal in general on his Zenyatta. But he's been relatively quiet so far, I think, in this series.
So mirror comps coming out here on Village as both teams face off here on the high ground. Currently Singularity Ninjas forcing them back just a little bit, but that allows eUnited to play a little bit of LOS, cut down some of the angles, but Craggy comes in, takes out Sherrick. That's the huge tank going on out there, but frags coming on in from both sides, but Singularity Ninjas walking away with the man advantage.
Yeah, Nerf actually played that one extremely well because you saw United, they were trying to bait him in for a jump, trying to bait him in to go a little bit too deep and then just kill him, because with the way that United were staying together, they all grouped up and they wanted to punish him, but he kept his cool. He sat back, he just waited for the enemy team, for United to eventually lose him and take too much chip with Craggy off to the side, as you're seeing here, and that worked out flawlessly.
All right, so with Singularity Ninjas winning that fight, they were able to take control of the point, already have 12%. And now eUnited here to contest. But Balotaya not able to get this frag quite yet. It's going to be Craggy that takes out Boombox, and that's actually a huge threat, taking out that Orb of Discord.
Not to mention, they're really trying to focus this man down. They realize the power and what he can really bring to these fights. I think Boombox actually just got a little bit caught off guard, a little bit out of position. But unfixed, he did use his tack visor in that last fight and got, it looks like, almost absolutely nothing. So credit to Danny to really zone him out, keep that defense matrix up, prevent him from really doing the damage he needed to.
Yeah, already the Ninjas, they got 40% here on Village. Got the tactical visor, sound barrier, along with that transcendence at the ready. Boombox has his own, while Morty is working on his own sound barrier. Now they're fighting on the point. They're actually got a good percentage so far, but they are finally going to contest on the side of Singularity Ninjas.
And you gotta look where the Discords are, with Boombox kind of being zoned out sometimes. You can see he's actually on the opposite side of his team. It's both chances gonna be popped here for both teams. Balo's still trying to look for some sort of pull spot here to connect, but with Shark already going down, they've lost that initial man. The self-destruct's gonna be thrown in just to, I guess, zone them somehow. But it does force Linda into corner. It does allow Valo to pick up that kill, but there's not getting enough of them.
Yeah, they're committing these ultimates into it and not getting much off of it. Especially that self-destruct you kind of want to use to try and zone them off the point, but instead it was put right outside of that box, and so it was not much of a threat to anyone. Now we do have the Lucio here trying to threaten for the point, so that forces Singularity Ninjas back onto it.
And you can see Boombox through the X-ray, really far back, actually being pressured on by Nerf here, being focused out directly. So he's eliminated from the fight. There's no Discord, there's no Orb of Harmonies, but Nerf does go down to Boombox. He picks up that 1v1, he's able to rejoin to the fight here. Those tack visors have been popped out from Unfix and from Monde, but Unfix on a sliver of HP has to be so careful to not be focused out, but we're in overtime already.
Yeah, 99%. eUnited haven't been able to get a single percentage yet, but with Unfixed picking up 2 kills, both onto Monde and Kelix, taking out DPS into support, they should be able to win this out. They're just trying to delay for as long as possible, as Nerf was able to clean up Cruz, but it might not be enough. He is finally going to go down, but at this point, Singularity Ninjas are in a great spot.
You have to hope for them and for the fans out there that they don't get, reverse sweep the 99-0 scoreline, then they get 99-99 or 100-99. It could be rough, and with Boombox having trance, I mean, he doesn't really need to force it, really need to use it, because Monde doesn't have his tack visor. So if he's going to use it, it might be a little bit aggressive, or be a, keep myself alive while I'm being attacked. But actually, Lind, he takes Boombox down. There's no transcendence here. The pulse one's going to come in, but it just doesn't seem to have connected onto anything. And Singularity Ninjas have already picked up 2 initial kills.
Yeah, it's 6v4 now, forcing Morty off the spot. Now Sherrick, though, answers right on back with that Tesla Cannon. Cleans up both Nerfed and Kelix, and they are going to be able to swap the point finally on the side of Singularity Ninjas. Overtime taking on down as Morty tries to get on there, but he looks rocket to the face. Balotaya is going to try to get onto the point, but there's a Transcendence coming up for Boombox just to try and delay.
Yeah, just want to make sure to touch that point and not let that self-destruct completely zone them off here. Monde popping that tactical visor, just completely zoning them away. They really can't contest the point here, and Singularity Ninja is going to be off to a strong start here on control.
All right. Will this allow Singularity Ninjas to get their first map off of eUnited, starting off pretty strong here, taking 100 to, what was it, around 20? That 20 percentage that eUnited were able to get?
Singularity Ninjas are, I think, being really ballsy with the way they're playing with Lind. Because if you saw when he took down Boombox, he went high ground, I think, almost by himself. If anything, he had one person, maybe Monde, there to help protect him. But they sent him alone, or him together with Monde, to go high ground to deal with the entirety of United who were there, trying to make them look in the other direction when the rest of the team went through main. Like, that kind of shows that they're willing to go for these really, really cocky plays, these really out of the woodwork plays. And eUnited, I don't think we're necessarily expecting it. And we talked about Boombox having the freedom on Route 66. Well, now I feel like Lind has it because Boombox is constantly being focused on by Nerfed.
You kind of have to play a little bit unrestrained at this point, right? If you play too passive, that allows a team like eUnited to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
And right now we are opening up here onto Shrine as Cruz gets the first frag onto Kellex. 6v5 in favor of eUnited. Point hasn't even unlocked yet.
And you can see, though, again, the pressure. Shark can jump directly over towards Lind, and the rest of the team's going to be there to respond, at least help protect him for a little bit of time before the rest of them do fall. And smart by Nerfed and Danny to just sacrifice themselves instead of feeding over ult percent. That's kind of the way control goes, is when the team initially picks up that kill or the first wipe, is when they can try to snowball against you. But look, it's Violet taking the high ground, try and deny Monde having any good vantage point to work with here. If they can zone this like they were able to do on Route 66, then they eliminate such a major threat for them, because they're not running to Genji. They don't have to worry about that at all. And Cruz is just so mobile, he can get so much damage in from so many different directions.
All right, so Ninjas do try to approach in from the stairs side, but they might just get cornered out here. Sherrick gets the first frag, taking out Nerfed. One of the tanks down on the side of Singularity Ninjas. That's going to open it up pretty wide for eUnited to come in and start advancing forward. Sherrick finding the kill onto Lind also, and now they're just falling on the side of Singularity Ninjas. Should back out at this point and reset.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. They're not going to really survive much longer here. They're just feeding over extra percent over to eUnited. But I love the way that Shark and Cruz are playing together, because when we saw Singularity Ninjas go in through the Mega, through the underground towards the right-hand side of the screen, Cruz and Shark drop behind them and try to focus onto Lind, while the rest of eUnited were in the front. And this is just kind of that synergy between these two players, because Cruz obviously plays the Diva as well, so him and Shark have to be able to play well together. But the Winston and the Genji is so such more critical for these teams to pull off successfully.
Having a field day here in the back line.
So you can see right there, yeah, Shark just jumps in and help him out.
So now, yeah, between the two Winstons, it looks like Shark just has been having a field day. Nerfed going down pretty early in most of these fights now, as Shark once again on top of Lind, taking out that Orb of Discord. And once that Orb of Discord's gone, that's when he has a lot more freedom. So just enabling himself at this point, eUnited just gonna clean up easy.
Well, you pointed out about, you know, Shark versus Nerfed and like Winston v Winston. I feel like the fact that Shark has a Genji to work with means they have more kill potential on a hero they're going to jump on onto an individual player, where Nerfed has been kind of jumping by himself. We can think back to Village, where he was trying to zone out Boombox 1v1 and eventually did fall to him. I think Danny and Nerfed aren't really working as well together as we've seen Shark and Cruz so far.
Yeah, so the triple DPS dive just paying dividends for eUnited so far here on Shrine, as overtime is now coming on out. Transcendence gets bought out from both sides, but sound barriers are going to be used also. Self-destruct going to be committed by Donnie. They will be able to flip the point with that, but it's a small lifeline for them at this point, as eUnited are currently winning this fight.
Yeah, Craggy either fell off or killed himself with a pulse bomb somehow. Cruz actually is just barely alive here too. He needs to be healed up immediately here for them to take this point back, but the kill fees all go in red. You can sure as hell guarantee that eUnited are going to pick up this point here and we tie things up at one apiece.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing for them to gain at that point, right? They were already at 99%. You might as well just give it the positioning there, fight in a better battlefield instead of trying to all fight on top of the point. And at that point, it worked out for eUnited.
It's just very similar to like a tug of war, where they allowed Singularity Ninjas to engage upon them. eUnited back away to make them over-aggressive. And when they do that, the backline of Singularity Ninjas obviously isn't going to push up with them, because then you're putting yourself in danger. So they make Singularity Ninjas frontline go too far up. eUnited collapse, kill those first, and then go back to the point where the supports are by themselves. So just really using the advantage of having a 99, or to having 99% built up already, to force Singularity Ninjas to force their hand. They had to be aggressive.
So now we're tied up here 1-1 on Nepal. United want to close out this series. Remember, they've already got that map lead, inching out Route 66 as we do move on to Sanctum.
Movie Star Riders against Misfits is our next match. I honestly cannot wait to see that, as it's going to be a rematch from Take TV. And let's see when we do get to that, because we still have this crazy match breaking off here as eUnited have tied things up here in Nepal. So move over onto Sanctum. Not going to see any Orisa, but again, we're going to see Cruz on the Genji. And then if we do get to Village again, probably switching back to the Diva. And I mean, I feel like this is the perfect map for Cruz to really pop off.
Yeah, he was dropped a little low, but he will get healed up by Morte. Now both teams just fighting over the high ground, but unfixed. Has a nice angle, getting some ultimate charge off, currently in the lead up against Mantrosser. But Craggy facing off against his counterpart, Balotaya.
Yeah, but with Valo having that positioning, he has the Mega to heal up with, where now it forces Lin to look over to Craggy to heal him up. So with Anna obviously healing the Tracer, you're not healing your Winston, you're not healing your Soldier. And it obviously takes away from a lot of the healing, a lot of pressure you can apply. But hey, I mean, with all that talk, and they actually get the first point nonetheless here. But the problem is, will they be able to maintain it? Because Valo already picks up a kill, Unfix takes down Nerfed, and they have the man advantage.
Yeah, they've got the man advantage. They're on right now. It is being contested by the side of Singularity Ninjas as Craggy does finally clean up that kill onto Valutaya, and now he's just pressuring the rest of eUnited, who do have to just wait for the respawns to come in. As I say that, though, Unfixed, able to take out Montrosser.
They do trade Cruz for it, though. And they are going to have their attack visor. I mean, just look at Unfix compared to Manda. 88%, 90% up to 70. So Unfix has been able to do a lot more damage, stay a lot safer as well, so he's not actually dying in most of these fights. And that attack visor is going to be huge because they don't have a chance to stop it. They're going to have to invest in Nano, which they'll have that as an advantage, but they don't have any support ultimates to stop it from doing the damage unless Danny can just zone him out completely. And Danny's gone. He just got knocked off.
United just winning this fight pretty handily so far. It's a 2-for-1 exchange. Valutaya has to commit that recall just to stay safe. Craggy trying his best, but with that Orb of Discord, the melee coming in from Cruz, cleaning up 2 easily. eUnited will flip it on over, but the Ninjas have already gotten 51%.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of percent built for them, but this map can be very snowball because of how the choke points really work. It forces the team to run through a very tight-knit area, which allows, you know, an ultimate like a Pulse Bomb or a Dragon Blade out of Cruz to really become extra effective. Unfix has attack visor ready to go. They do not have a Diva to stop Mondas, so Cruz and Valo kind of need to pair together with Shark to jump on him immediately and pick up that kill quick, which is going to be really difficult considering he will be nano boosted.
Yeah, we do have the Transcendence coming out from Boombox. That's going to be the offensive one, but Mana immediately pops that tactical visor. He's got the nano boost behind it. Already picked the kill onto Boombox as he was out of that Transcendence. Picking up 2 kills. Going to be an exchange, though, so far. Cruz getting hunted down. Will be able to get the better of Nerf, though.
And look at this. They actually pull back. They even lost 2 people in that fight because the rest of them didn't die because they just stayed safe on the point. They were allowed Unfix to get a great ultimate off to pick up quite a few kills. And Cruz saved his blade the entire time because they realized we can still win this fight. We're 100% still in this. No need to commit any extra ultimates. And Valo's going to have his Pulse Bomb. This is going to be really hard for Singularity to get back through this choke point. And if they lose one fight here, we're looking at 90% already built up for United.
Yeah, and Singularity Ninjas also, because they've been running the Ana, that means they don't have a Zen. You had mentioned on Route 66, well, they don't have both support ultimates to work with, and now they're even struggling to get that sound barrier up for Kelix here into this next fight.
Yeah, Shark's just going to stall for a lot of time. They've already lost Lind as well. You can see him jump directly into Monday and try to focus this man down. That's going to be the Primal Rage popped up to at least zone him. So, I mean, that's a good trade. I think zoning him off, and then you can jump back to point immediately here and knock people away. We're up to 85% now built up, and Cruz is still holding on to his blade. They need one more fight. And with the way that Singularity Ninja is going to have to stroll back into this one, kind of staggering one by one, this gives them the perfect opportunity to pick up a lot of stragglers.
91%, 92 is coming down to the wire. Singularity Ninjas just have to book it for the point, but already Sherrick gets the frag onto Montrosser. He was so close to that tactical visor, and Lin goes down. How is Nerf going to stay alive through this? We do have the self-destruct coming on now, and dang! Connects onto 2, taking out both Cruz and Sherrick.
I'm not sure what Cruz did there. He just kind of ate that one to the face. He should have easily been able to escape that one, but maybe he thought he was just too far over. Maybe his blade was actually sticking out around the corner, and that's what got caught. Because we know this man can't live without his blade. But either way, Singularity do pull the point back. They had to invest so many ultimates into that. But now they have the sound barrier, so they have at least one defensive ultimate. And they're going to have Manda with his attack visor in just a few seconds. So there's a very good possibility they can maintain this one, because I don't see Cruz really building up a Dragon Blade again. It's going to come down to Valo to hit a Pulse Bomb to really turn the tides.
Yeah, he's at 95. Cruz dropped down low. He gets pushed out by that Diva. They're going to force the D-Mac going a little bit too aggressive there. That's actually huge as Unfix gets the kill onto Denny. Unfix getting closer and closer to his tactical visor. There's nothing to counter him.
Manda's going to pop his. Looks like he's doing some decent damage, but eventually he's going to fall here now. Unfix with that going down. He just pops his own. They're going to zone them off the point here. 99% still built up for them. As Singularity Ninjas are up to 90 themselves, but they just don't have the people alive. They're going to turn the point, and United have more than they need to pick up their second point on Nepal and now be one map away from getting through into the grand final.
Man, Kelix even fell there with his sound barrier. Like, that was the only counter that they had on the side of Singularity, and they're just trying to counter that. But you got to be careful playing that Diva. You saw as soon as Unfix saw that the Diva was just out of position, made the call, focused him down, got him out of mech.
It's kind of that time, like for instance, Singularity Ninja, we talked about them in particular. This is their the time to really show everyone what they've got, right? This is their time to shine. And I think Danny just went too aggressive. He wanted that play too much to get that kill into Cruz, to maintain a man advantage, and then maybe somehow escape, but he used his booster into him. He had no escape mechanism. He had defense matrix, yeah, but what's that going to do against a Winston and all the people just spamming melee against you? So he gets too aggressive, he falls, then Unfix has the freedom to work with his attack visor.
All right, we're back onto Village here. United sitting on match points, trying to make their way into the grand finals, but Boombox once again coming in with that. Zenyatta gets the first frag onto Calyx.
That really shouldn't happen. Honestly, that shouldn't happen. I think Danny should have had that defense matrix up, and Boombox just taking advantage of knowing the angles and knowing the timings. Picks up an easy first kill and an easy first point hold. That's rough. That's really rough. And you can tell maybe there's some disparity within Singularity, and they're just maybe they're getting down on themselves, realizing they could be out now, but they need to come back. They need to just focus up. Maybe let Lind work that high ground area yet again, which he was able to get the better of Boombox.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty interesting. Danny himself has picked up 72% on his ultimate charge with that Diva. That's a lot of damage actually coming out, but somehow he wasn't able to really pick up any kills during that last team fight. Now they're fighting onto the point, 50% for eUnited already, but currently, it's Nerf that gets the frag onto Morty. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, though, as Nerf is finally forced off the point, and now Singularity Ninjas with the man advantage, taking out Sherrick, taking out Cruz, will be able to flip it.
I actually really like how you pointed out the fact that Danny had his, what, 70-80% built up on his self-destruct, where Cruz on their hand had, I think, 30-40. So there's a couple of aspects of that, where Singularity Ninjas lost that fight. That wasn't even a close fight for the initial get-go. But maybe that shows that Danny was more about doing damage instead of protecting teammates. Because we obviously saw Calyx go down off the bat with Boombox hitting him. So maybe that just kind of shows the presence of him, or the mindset of him of wanting to be aggressive and wanting to maybe be that playmaker, where Cruz is being more defensive. Especially when you've played against teams like Rogue, you need to be able to protect your back line and use that defense matrix to the best possibility.
Yeah, now Singularity Ninjas pushing forward, as he did see eUnited pushing out, trying to get onto the point, and Nerf already getting the mech off on Cruz. Morty goes on down and Nerfed. Just coming up huge so far with this Winston.
I mean, they invested a trance into this. I would imagine not going to invest too much more. Only picking up one kill. Shark actually going to pop his Primal Rage. Resuit's going to come in back in for Cruz. He's looking for his self-destruct, but there's just too many kills. I'm not sure why they invested those ultimates into it, but either way, now they have to deal with this. They do have the pulse bomb. Calyx is going to have his Soundbird at least counter this for now, and they do have the attack visor. The problem is, if you're unfixed in this situation, you want to get high ground control. But I think the way United are going to play this is go through main, get onto the point, and force Singularity to fight them on the ground. Oh, Boombox. Oh, no.
All right, so now they are trying to contest onto the high ground right now. Valentine is trying to get into the back line, but he immediately gets spotted out. Soundberry comes out on the side of Singularity Ninjas along with that self-destruct from Cruz, but he's never able to get back into his mech. He goes down to Calyx, now unfixed on the high ground position, already outmanned here. Has to be careful, trying to find this frag. Will not be able to pick it up onto Montrosser. Has to fall back into this mini health pack.
The thing is, I like Diva, and I like Diva on Village, but Cruz's Diva on this point has just not been successful for them. They lost the first time they played on Village. They're going to lose the second time as well. His Genji has just been working a lot better for them in general. Whether or not that's just because his Diva isn't as strong as his Genji, or Singularity Ninjas are a lot more competent dealing with a Diva than his Genji. I feel like his Genji, she's always going to be using here, has just been the big turning tide for them. It's a little bit hard for Lind, I think, to really deal with that, because Cruz just gets around the map so quickly, and he's just so proficient in that Genji play.
Yeah, so far he definitely has been a lot more proficient with that Genji instead of the Diva, but it is going to be mirrored compositions once again. No, Cruz will finally swap off onto that Genji.
He better.
As we go back to Sanctum.
Yeah, I was about to say he better, unless they want to lose this map here and go to a third. I've been pretty happy, actually, with Craggy, just to completely switch gears. His Tracer has been able to deal with Valu 1v1 relatively well. Yeah, he's lost maybe a fight or two. He's also won a fight or two, but he's keeping Valu in check. He's not allowing Valu to just do his thing and just get into the back lines and do damage.
I mean, that was one of the major points in Apex Season 2 Grand Finals, right? About keeping Stitch out in the back line, making sure the Tracers aren't just getting free damage off and being able to solo out supports. Right now, both teams contesting over the high ground so far. 10 seconds until the point unlocks. Now, eUnited have been sitting on match points, but with that initial frag, that is a great opening for them, taking out Craggy, and we're seeing them immediately go aggressive up against Singularity and Ninjas.
Yeah, it's too hard for United to even contest that position because of the Diva on the other side. Danny's just going to be able to take or mitigate too much damage, but once Valor picked up that initial kill, they immediately jumped in. You saw Cruz just go straight in as fast as he could just to force that fight, forcing that man advantage and allowing Valor to have the freedom to play for the backside. So now, eUnited finally getting the percent built up for them. They win this map, they move into the finals here. Still a lot of teams they could potentially meet up against. Actually, I think there's quite a few teams they want to play against there, whether it's Movistar Riders or it's going to be Misfits, which obviously will be our next match. But again, Valor, he has control of this room, he has a health back to play with, and he knows he's feeling confident enough to deal with Craggy, who's now forced him away.
Yeah, 25% and ticking up for eUnited. Pulse Bomb came out, but it didn't quite connect from Valataya. But Sherrick will get the kill onto Lind, and Lind has been so vulnerable playing this Ana so far. He hasn't been getting that much protection, even when he was on Zen. And he's been going down pretty frequently. If it's not him, it's generally Nerf that goes down. And already, eUnited just winning this team fight outright.
It's really difficult, I think, for Lin to stay alive in this situation unless somehow Kelix is going to protect him, right? Obviously, if you're Kelix, if you're playing the Lucio, you have to speed him away. You have to boot people away. But when there's a Monkey in your face, when there's a Genji in your face, when there's a Trace in your face, there's only so much you can do, right? So either you kill their backline first or they kill your backline first. It comes down to just a quick little battle.
Yeah, the math, it adds up. And right now, the math in this map anyway is adding up in favor of eUnited. I guess I should say this point specifically because it's 2-2 in the map. But I want to bring something up that we mentioned briefly in this last, the last match, and you guys mentioned here, is Diva. Coming into this event, we were asking, where's Diva in a lot of the previous results? And we're seeing it used by both teams here to varying degrees. So let's start with Ultimate Impact. How have the teams been utilizing that Ultimate? And it may not even be that they, well, I'll let you go for it. Yeah,
there hasn't really been like any crazy engagements. We haven't seen like any Earth Shatters into a self-destruct or EMPs into a self-destruct. It's more of like a zoning tool. We saw Cruz on Village in particular. He threw a self-destruct on the high ground above the point just to keep them in that position to force them down onto the ground so they can fight, like on equal footing. But we haven't really seen that many kills in general. We did see on Sanctum there, like Cruz and Shark went down at one point.
Yeah, and it's not, even in late, when teams are using it very well, it's not necessarily because of those big moments. Yeah. With the real importance is that protecting your back line. So how do you think these teams are incorporating that? And you had even mentioned that the difference in ult usage based on, doing more damage potentially or protecting more. How are we seeing that balance play out?
One of the interesting things about Diva's defense matrix is that, well, you can't use it if you're using self-destruct because, well, it's being sent out. And so they have to be very cognizant of that. So that's why we're not seeing the self-destructs come out until it's like a panic ulti or you're gonna die, might as well go ahead and use it. And so if you use it, that gives a window of opportunity for the enemy Soldier 76 to come in and just get free tactical visor off for about 2 or 3 seconds until they're able to get back into the mech. And so that's why we're seeing very restrained use of it so far coming up from both sides.
We're going to see an engagement come in here. It's more very low on HP here. The Transcend's going to keep everyone alive here. Nerf, he does have his Primal Rage, but looks like he's already backing away, realizing they've lost too many people in the situation. And United will continue to take the point up. But to back on the Diva topic really quickly, we're not seeing anyone play like Zephyr did with Cloud9 at Takeover. No one's really playing really defensive. We've seen that out of Danny already, just having such a huge ult lead over Cruz, even though they lost that fight. But I think maybe Danny isn't as experienced dealing with like a triple DPS dive, to having to protect Lind, to having to protect Helix to keep them alive, where we've seen, other teams like North America deal with that a little bit differently.
Now, Valataya already got frag onto Montrosser. Now, time is ticking away for Singularity Ninjas. Their lifeline almost gone. 85% for eUnited. They just need to win one more team fight. And take a look at all these staggered kills. Primal Rage comes on out. Just gonna force him back there. That's the panic self-destruct I was talking about. That's about the only time they're really gonna use it. And that's gonna keep him alive for now, but he might just get demech for his efforts. Now Unfixed pushes forward. He's got that tactical visor, and that's the ultimate you want to really try and close out these rounds. Kellis dropped really low. He's able to make it onto the point, but there is the sound barrier. Oh. No! Marne actually gets dropped off the side by Nerf there, and that actually opens it up for Singularity Ninjas.
I don't know how the hell they just pulled that one back. They've done it here. I think they should be able to take the pointers. Cruz eventually is going to fall. Unfixed does die to Monday as well, which is one of the last Singularity Ninjas who they lost like 2 or 3 people at 85-90% and still somehow come in because of Danny getting on top of the point. Kelix hit a 3-man sound barrier with him, Lind, and Danny, and then Nerf comes in. If he didn't hit that double kill with the Primal Rage, we'd be looking at a much different result so far. But now they've committed almost every ultimate into this fight. We have no sound barrier. Cruz has his blade. Boombox has his transcendence. This is going to be tough. They somehow need Cruz to mess up, or they somehow need to deal with this man to prevent him from getting a snowball. Because look at all these people grouped up in this corner.
Yep, we do have the sound barrier coming up from eUnited right now. Donnie on the point, trying to contest. They cannot give this up as the nano boost does come on out. But the transcendence, and he immediately gets booped off the edge by Kelix. But is that going to be enough? eUnited have such a huge man advantage, cleaning up Kelix and Lynn there. They've just done it. They should be able to flip on the point. Overtime ticking away, and that's going to be eUnited walking away with a 2-0 victory. But it was close on both maps.
Yeah, it was a lot closer than I think we expected. Hands down, even Route 66 going to neither team even playing out the map, which is a little unfortunate. Actually, I really like Route 66. I want to see them go further. But hey, you know, Singularity Ninjas, I think they've definitely showed they're definitely a proficient team. They've already made it top 8, so they're pretty much good for Contenders Season 1. But they still have a little bit of work to do, especially against Genjis.
Most definitely. But I like that kind of adaptation they made, not being able to play with Crytalk today, going for a 2-2-2 instead of going for the triple DPS dive that they're probably really comfortable with.
Yeah, and I think as teams are starting to unlock D.Va in more ways, like we've seen in other regions even, I think we're going to see more 2-2-2. I think it's going to start coming to the surface just a little bit more as teams are trying to add tools to their belt, with a lot of teams focusing on that dive comp right now.
I think if we went to like a hybrid map or another escort map, we could have seen Singularity and then just pick up, you know, one of those